Hello everybody, Spooky Sandwoman here. Thank you for checking out episode Seduce Me the Otome. Last episode, Erik showed us a vision of him and his mother. Apparently his mother is the one that is telling him to be all flirty and stuff, so he can just use people's energies and then move on to the next person. Yowza! Anyway, I turned away from the mirror to look at Erik beside me, who had a look of both sadness and guilt. It is like a puppy admitting to chewing my favorite shoe or a child stealing a cookie from a cookie jar. Erik stopped the magic, willing the mirror out of existence and letting it fade away into the air before he looked at me.
She taught me well, at least what she could teach me anyway. That visage became habit, and now it's a natural persona to me. She taught me to always serve and make the women I met happy. She always said that that was the true incubus way.
The true incubus way?
It makes sense, no? If I can please and serve any women I meet, then I can surely convince them to fully give their energy to me.
I began to see the mask Erik was wearing. He wasn't putting on airs because he was overly complimentary. He was complimentary in order to gain trust and respect. That is smart.
It is. However, I know what you're thinking, Princess. I don't blame you for thinking what you are thinking of right now.
Then what am I thinking of right now?
Who am I exactly? If I am truly not as flirtatious as I act, then what do I act like? And will you be the next victim? I can assure you, Princess, that I am no danger to you.
How can I be so sure?
Because, Princess, I don't deserve your trust or energy.
I stared, my mind going blank. What did he mean? Erik lifted my hand again and gently caressed it, staring down at it.
You've done so much for me and my brothers, sheltering us, letting us continue to live here. It may not seem like much, but to a family of brothers without anywhere to go, it means everything. I can't soil your gifts to us by taking anything from you. You've become so important and precious to us. To me. To take anything from you like that would be beyond unforgivable.
I watched in speechless silence as Erik lifted my hand higher and simply laid his lips against it. I could feel his frown and felt his shame burning itself into my skin. It was a pitiful sight and almost made my eyes water.
I could never do that to you.
Erik lowered my hand and lowered his head, ashamed. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He didn't want to hurt me. He truly cared. Erik let out a small sigh before looking to me, his face now clear of the flirtatious mask he bore for so long. He had a genuine, caring, and loving smile bared for me. This was the man inside of the incubus who cared for me and wanted to be revealed.
Now, Princess, you must get some more rest. You aren't fully recovered, and dinner is a good scent to wake up to.
Erik smiled and gently pressed me back down onto the bed. Not without a kiss first! Waaaa! Right? Yeah, right. I couldn't let him leave without doing something. I quickly pulled Erik down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. Erik stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, caressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face at this simple gesture. He let out a satisfying hum before nuzzling my forehead.
Sleep.
And with that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest as per his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. Ugh! I suddenly tensed up. I felt majorly uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it in my core. She must be here. The thought of her in the house infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not here. I rolled out of bed and quickly left my room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but I was listening very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you? I could feel myself growl. It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very existence had lit a fire of rage within my gut, which only grew as each day went by. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. I wasn't going to lose to that demon bitch.
Diana, what a pleasant surprise.
My heart stopped. Diana was with Erik. My mind flew into slow motion, playing fake images of Diana trying to seduce Erik in my head to further fan the angry flame inside of me. What was even worse was the fact that Erik could play into Diana's flirtatious game. I instinctively followed Erik's voice and blushed wildly. I was approaching the bathroom. The door was open just a crack, wide enough to peek in without being noticed. I peeked inside to see Erik by the bathtub with Diana sitting on the sink, looking to him.
Such a gentleman. You know how to treat a woman.
That I do. However, I'm afraid that my manners will not replace my sickening hatred towards you.
I'm hurt, wounded truly. Is this how you really address a woman?
A woman you may be, but you are an enemy as well.
Pity. And here I thought I was going to offer you the chance to become something better than just a simple incubus.
What was Diana going on about? More than just an incubus? She was insane.
I highly doubt you have anything more than what I can have here in the human world.
How about becoming the next demon lord?
Doesn't really seem like something Erik would really want. I froze. What did she mean, becoming the next demon lord? The boys weren't in the demon world anymore. They had no claim to the throne anymore.
Becoming the next demon lord? You're overstepping yourself, don't you think? How can you know about who the throne goes to?
Well, currently, I'm the contracted bride to the heir to the throne. Since the throne is open, it's available to any son of the demon lord's line.
Is that so?
It is. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus like you?
I could feel myself gripping my fist tightly in anger. How dare this girl try to convince Erik to return to the demon world? He ran away from it. He didn't have to go back. He shouldn't go back. My mind began to wander, imagining him saying yes. He would leave and the brothers would follow to bring him back. They'd be trapped because Diana would make sure they could never leave. Erik would be the new demon lord with Diana as his queen, and I'd lose him.
Sorry, but that actually doesn't sound appeasing at all.
What?
I felt surprise run down my body again. Did I hear Erik correctly? He denied her?
You dare deny?
Do not try to raise a tone to me. I am not as submissive as my training defines.
I could see the ethereal tendrils slowly form around Erik, taunting and threatening to strike at Diana.
You do not scare me. I can bring you to your knees and make you beg to return with me.
Such a cute bluff. You don't have enough power to do that, do you? Or else you would have already done it.
Erik smirked before making the tendrils fade away. Diana gripped the sink beneath her as Erik turned to adjust the shower head nonchalantly.
Besides, even if you did enthrall me, you wouldn't fully own me. I belong to her.
The human girl? You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She is a human. You're a demon.
I felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth. It would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. So I'm gonna barge in and set that bitch straight. I decided to be assertive and quickly stepped into the room, throwing the door to the bathroom wide open. Diana and Erik looked at me in surprise as I glared daggers at Diana. Get out.
Well, well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
Does a little bit, yeah. It does concern me.
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
You're asking him to leave to be someone he doesn't want to be. That's not gonna happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
I love him. Diana stared in shock at my exclamation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care what she expected. I wasn't going to lose the man I had grown to love.
You love him?
Yes, I love him. Diana's lips twitched, the edge curling into an amused smirk as she stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
To both of our surprise, however, Erik stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
I saw the confidence Diana had shatter in her eyes as she stared at Erik at his words. I could see the struggle in her face to try and find some weakness in Erik. In me. Anything.
A demon love a human? Impossible.
Impossible? How utterly dim to think that. We are the masters of emotion. We aren't barred away from feeling love. In fact, we can experience it 10 times more powerfully than humans. I love her with every single part of my being. However, I don't expect someone like you to understand love.
Diana took a step back, physically feeling the sting of Erik's words in her chest. She had lost. I could see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and Erik. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
And with that, Diana faded into the ground into a purple pentagram, crossing her arms and looking almost upset. Erik and I were then left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Erik stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you okay, princess?
I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Erik let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Erik's heartbeat. He held me closer in his arms and I felt safe beyond words.
My sweet princess, how you've captured my heart.
I looked up at Erik, wondering what he meant by what he said. Erik smiled down at me, moving a strand of my hair from my face to look down at me.
I'm selfish, ignorant, and undeserving of everything you have done and given to me. The way you accept me and see through my mask astounds me beyond words. And now, you've captured my heart and claimed it as yours to probably the greatest adversary in the abyssal plains. You've made a demon fall in love with you. I've fallen in love with you and want to give you everything you deserve.
I like this music. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Erik confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Erik gently smiled and caressed my cheek. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it and close my eyes. This wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding hard enough to where I was sure Erik could hear it. Erik leaned in gently, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere torturous inch away from my lips. He wanted to show me my feelings for him. He had left himself open for me to kiss him or leave him empty, and I'm pretty sure that means I'm gonna kiss him. The power I had was unbelievable. I'm gonna fucking kiss him! I loved him, and I wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Erik let out almost a pleasured purr against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me close to him. I moved my arms up and around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deep into a heat and tight. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Erik was everything I desired. He was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was all so supernatural to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense of magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was Cupid playing with my heart. Either way, I find myself melting at the thought of him being with me. I found myself combing my fingers through Erik's hair, making the man holding me so softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled my lower lip, asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further. I easily teased him before finally opening my mouth slightly for him. His tongue gently danced with mine as one of his hands slid up my back and cradled my head. He gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Erik slowed the kiss down and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel myself melt already. Erik opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran across his cheeks, he was reduced to shy silence. I stared as he tried to find the words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy though, right? Are you?
No, I just...
I stared wide-eyed, feeling a blush on my cheeks grow. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words would have followed if he continued. He wanted me. I was stunned. Was I that appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Erik gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak, a small chuckle escaping his lips.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I do have to shower after all, and you need your rest.
I could feel my mind go numb and purr at the idea. A moment with an incubus. He was a demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock, and I would enjoy every second of it. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. Did I want to give that innocence to him? Especially this early? I found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew then what I wanted, but how to say it without breaking the moment. Seduce me! That is the name of the game, after all! I couldn't believe the two words that came out of my mouth. It made the most sense to tell him yes. I needed him. I wanted him. Those two words must have made something in him finally break. And here we go. Oh my lord. Erik simply ran his fingers down his vest shirt, releasing the buttons and revealing his bare chest to me. I couldn't help but move one of my hands down his chest, running a finger over the crevices of his muscles. A pleasured purr escaped his lips, making me shiver slightly. Erik let his vest and shirt slide down his arms to the floor below. Before cradling my head in his hands and kissing me deeply, I felt the heat rise in my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons on my own shirt. I would join him for a shower, and then we'd head to bed together. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, am I blushing? Am I? I feel like I am. Oh my god. Quickly, I removed my shirt and vest, making Erik stop kissing me and stare in slightly surprise. I was simply in a bra, but I could feel a blush invade my cheeks. My shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want this? To undress before a demon? No, this was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence drape over me in almost shame. As if he knew, Erik gently caressed my cheek, smiling at me before kissing each cheek and whispering in my ear.
You're beautiful.
Those two words broke my limitation. I gave in. I yielded to my desires. Oh my god! Don't look at me like that, Dusk. You're too young, hide your eyes. Don't look at the screen. Before I knew it, he and I were both stripped of clothing and in a very nice, warm shower together. The heat between our bodies simply added to the warmth, making the shower a very steamy one. Erik pulled me close, knowing that I was still shy, and began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, keep me comfortable, love me. I kept my arms wrapped around Erik, taking each kiss he gave and giving him my own kisses in return. I didn't know if it was the fact that we were both naked, or maybe I just craved his touch, but I didn't want to let him go. The water ran over our bodies, cleansing our skins as we held each other like it was the end of the world. Even when Erik started to actually wash his body and mine, our bodies constantly touched. I don't know why that made me laugh. The fragrance of the soap engraved itself into my memory as I let him touch me and clean me. He was gentle and sweet, making sure to be attentive to every part of me. However, as he held me, I could feel the slight shiver of his hands. He was nervous. Was I his first? He wasn't going to show it. He wanted me to enjoy this moment, but was afraid of screwing up. His shivering hand showed me his emotions perfectly. Then my mind quickly made a realization. Were we really going to join in the shower? I had imagined my first to be in a bed. Sometimes it's different. Eventually I pulled away from him after the last bit of soap was rinsed from my skin. He looked at me worried, but I smiled. Not here. Erik stared for a brief moment before slightly smirking and nodding, yeah, I said that right, gathering me back into his arms and kissing me. I felt magic gather around our bodies as the slight pattern of running water vanished. I slightly opened my eyes to see Erik and I were no longer in the shower but my bedroom. Oh good, you didn't have to do that awkward run to her bedroom in just a towel. Oh god, that would have been awkward. Like Matthews, it's like, where are you guys going? Why? Bye! We were both dry, but the heat and passion remained. Erik guided me to the bed as a purple tendril made sure my door was closed and locked. Good thing those tendrils are there. As he laid me down and knelt over me, Erik smiled and finally embraced me as we both desired. The pleasure between us would be heavenly, and we'd go through it together. Oh my god. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Erik. My mind, my body, my mind, my soul, it all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, his soul, it all belonged to me as I gave into his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my memory as our passion rose through incredible heights. Our breaths and moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant we wished to never end. We kept moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had had enough and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other in the glow of the aftermath. I nuzzled my head under Erik's chin as he held me close.
I love you so much.
I love you too. Just to hear those words come from Erik's mouth made my heart flutter. To hear me answer made my soul warm in glee. I could feel both of us sink into a peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had had in days, and I was happy. I had love, and I had my happiness. My life was simply perfect. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Erik's bare chest. I blushed, but looked up to see Erik still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was lying next to a man I had grown to love with all of my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as the tender moment we just shared replayed in my mind, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter to his body, giving me more of his warmth. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move and bring me to the balcony window, where I had opened the glass and stepped out onto the patio. I hope I'm clothed. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony with her glowing eyes stare upon me. I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away.
Good!
By the way, how was it exactly? Demons are the best lovers, after all.
Eep. I glared. What do you want, Diana?
Well, I just wanted to see how you truly feel. You know, without him around to influence you.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean about these feelings of yours, and to give you your salvation.
What was Diana up to? This was beyond crazy. Nothing she had done made sense. Why was I still alive at this rate? What's keeping you from just killing me and taking them?
You are not worth my time.
Fuck a fight ya! Not worth your time? What are you, afraid something might happen? All at once I felt my body being lifted into the air and moved past over the railings, leaving me with nothing but the ground below me to threaten me with a collision death.
Oh, trust me, dear. I'm not afraid to kill you. I can drop you right now and leave your body to rot until the morning, when the boys would find you.
I wanted to speak, but the thought of her letting go and letting me fall to my death scared my voice into silence. Diana then chuckled and willed my body back to the balcony, sitting me down gently.
Alas, if I kill you, then the boys would never come with me willingly back to the demon world, and then I'd have to chase them all around the world, or kill them and drag them back. But then their father wouldn't be happy, and blah blah blah. Too much work.
Diana seemed very business-oriented, as if the boys were cargo more than men. It irked me, but then she smiled.
I'm giving you one chance to denounce your love for the demon in your bed, and let me take him and the other boys back to the demon world.
No, you could go fuck yourself! And why, may I ask, would I do that?
There are so many reasons why, actually. There's the reason that he's a demon and you're a human.
Go fuck
So
yourself.
you two can never truly have a happily ever after.
Go fuck
Then
yourself.
there's the reason that demons truly do not know how to love.
Go fuck yourself.
Despite what he may proclaim. The list goes on and on.
And go fuck yourself.
The point is, if you give me the boys, I will promise you eternal happiness.
No! Eternal happiness.
That's right. I have the power to give you anything you desire. Power, men, women, money, fame. Name it, and it's yours. A demon never goes back on their word, and I have the power to obtain anything you wish. Our deal is our contract.
I could only stare in shock. This was a dream. It had to be. However, Diana smiled an almost genuine smile at me, shaking me to the reality of the situation. She would never smile like that.
Don't you wish to be free of your destiny? Your father constantly berating you to become the next CEO of your grandfather's company.
How did you... I was almost floored in surprise. How did Diana know all of this? She was a succubus, yes, but how could she know anything beyond sexual desire? She wasn't Damien. Diana chuckled and leaned back against her arms.
Just because I play with hearts and sex doesn't mean I don't know my way around the human mind. You happen to be an open book of information, but I digress. I can give you your freedom with ease. It'll be like you were always meant to have it. All I ask is that you hand over the boys. What do you say?
Was I seriously being given this choice? The man I love for anything I wanted? A demon like Diana was powerful enough, yes, but did I even want to consider giving up the man I loved? No. Let me put this in terms you may understand. Go fuck yourself. Oh, I burped. She must have been crazier than I thought. I glared. Absolutely not. Diana sighed and stood up onto the railing. What I wasn't expecting was her lifting me into the air. I tried to scream, but my voice suddenly became locked in silence. What was Diana doing? Diana made me float over to her, and she smirked as we touched noses.
Well, if I can't return home with the boys, I might as well return home with the power to fight back.
Diana finally leaned in and kissed me. I shut my eyes, feeling the need to bite her lips, but finding no muscles in my face listening to my mental commands. What did she do to me? I didn't want to enjoy it, but every single nerve in my body was flaring in excitement and pleasure as she kissed me. I felt my energy drained, but forcibly from my body. Was she using her magic to force energy out of my body? It seemed like forever, but finally Diana pulled away from the kiss with a smile and a lick of her lips. She lowered me back onto the patio and chuckled. For some reason, even though nothing seemed to have changed, she looked stronger, powerful. It was almost like looking at a new Diana. Diana then stepped back off the railing, making me catch my breath in my throat. As she took another step away from me, she looked to be simply walking in the night air. Diana smirked at my sudden surprise.
May you never regret your choice, human. If you do, I'll happily come and take it away.
With a flick of her hair, Diana turned and walked away into the night, fading into the darkness like a shadow. I watched her fade away before looking back at the man in my bed. Did I make the right choice? You know you made the right choice. My heart gave a gentle thump, giving me my answer. I did, and I will never regret it for as long as I live. I walked back inside and gently crawled back into the bed with the embrace of the safest arms I knew. I snuggled close to the warmth before closing my eyes. I was happy. The rest of the story can almost be passed over. With Diana gone, my life returned to normal with school and my friends not remembering what had happened. It was as if magic never even appeared in my world. One thing was for certain, however. Erik loved me, and I loved him just as much. We had promised our lives to each other, and nothing was going to take that away from us. Not even time itself. Our love was so powerful, it practically overwhelmed me with joy every time I found him holding me close every morning. Doesn't that happen to anyone who's in a relationship? To think, a demon in love with a human like me. It was unthinkable, unbelievable. It was practically impossible. But it was true. The other boys decided to leave on their own accord. They knew that my future would only need Erik at my side, so they decided to start their own lives in the human world. Erik understood perfectly and vowed to serve me well, wishing his brothers the best. Besides, Eric had someone new to care for. His brothers didn't need to worry about him now that he was caring for me. I felt bad as well for being closer to Eric than the others, but they assured me that I was okay and they would remain nearby should I ever need them. I was happy for that. They made me promise, however, that I would love Eric for as long as we lived. That promise was instantly given. But what of my future? Well, it was kind of made for me. Before I graduated, James decided to step into the light of the Anderson Toys Company, and with the help of his demon powers and leadership charisma, he managed to influence not only the entire board, but my father as well, into letting him run for CEO. I was beyond shocked. How James managed to do all that was beyond me. But when the vote was called, James had taken over the company I was destined to have. He vowed to respect the wishes of the late CEO and help the company become an even grander one. For a demon, it was simply to make a company grand. My grandfather would have been proud to see how James helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, which made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my own life. With that being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help James build the company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Erik reassured me that he would support me and help me through whatever I decided to do. I was grateful and would never forget that promise. I was happy, and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One evening, a good couple years after the boys and I had met, I had a moment to myself, so I wandered my house and took in all that happened as if it was a dream. The demons, the devils, the magic, it was all surreal to believe. It almost frightened me to think that it could have all been a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was all real. The demons, the magic, the love I had, all real. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, relishing in the feelings dancing within my soul. I let out a happy sigh before looking up and seeing where I had wandered to. I was standing at the entrance to the backyard, and the door was slightly ajar. I peeked out to see Erik standing up by the gazebo, looking up at the moon in the sky. I slowly opened the door and exited the house, walking towards the man who held my heart. Hearing the grass beneath my feet, Erik turned his head and smiled at me.
Good evening, princess.
I smiled and blushed a bit, moving to stand at Eric's side. What are you doing out here?
Ah, I'm merely making friends with the moon, my love.
I blushed deeper. Hearing him call me his love made my heart skip a beat. Erik chuckled, most likely being able to see the blush through the darkness of the night.
I wanted to see the night sky. The yard is one of the more perfect places to stargaze. Don't you agree?
Well, we more certainly can't do it in the house. Yeah. I found myself staring up at the sky as well. The stars all glimmered in the dark blue, almost pitch black sky. They all seemed to cast an entrancing spell on my eyes, not letting me look away. Not that I cared, anyway. Erik gently wrapped an arm around my waist, pulling me close to him without breaking my stare at the sky.
I don't deserve you, you know.
I raised an eyebrow and looked to Erik, confused. What did he mean? Erik simply stared at the sky, holding me gently to him.
You're much too wonderful to be loving a demon such as myself. As cliché as it may be, the beauty fell in love with a beast. A beast with an insatiable hunger for lust.
But you're not a beast, Erik. Erik looked down at me in slight surprise. I turned my body to him and gently held his cheek in my hand, feeling him nuzzle gently into it and cradle it with his own hand. You're not a beast, nor will you ever be. You're Erik, and you're the man I want to love for the rest of my life. Demon or not, I love you. Erik stared, looking lost at what to say at my words. It was all true, though. He had faults, but sure, who didn't? I enjoyed his company and adored every part of his personality. The mask he wore would surely fade over time. Or maybe not. After all, his mask is part of who I fell in love with. Erik gently moved his head and kissed my palm, closing his eyes and absorbing what I had said. He gently opened his eyes partially, staring past my hand.
Sometimes I forget that you're human. You entrance me better than any demon could. You're truly unbelievable. Are you real, or am I dreaming?
Yes, Erik, I'm real. I'm right here. Erik finally looked at me, a look of desperate need in his eyes. You're not dreaming. I gently guided Eric's face down with my hand and kissed him softly, reminding him of my touch and reaffirming my words. He stared at me as if his greatest wish had come true. I fought back a giggle at the sight. Erik gently pulled me to him, facing me to hug me to his chest. I nuzzled into Eric's chest, hearing his gentle heartbeat and memorizing its tempo.
You'll regret it. I promise you. You'll regret loving someone like me.
You underestimate me. Erik chuckled softly, the sound of his laughter sending happy waves down my spine. Erik smiled down at me and kissed the top of my head. My focus, however, traveled to my hand, which had become gently held by Eric's. His thumb grazed over my ring finger, where I could feel soft veins of energy tingle on my skin. I watched as, around my finger, a small vine wrapped itself around and tied itself into a lovely ring. The ring held a beautiful purple flower with a red gem in the middle, glistening in the moonlight. I gasped before looking up to Erik, who slightly smirked down at me.
See? I'm taking advantage of you already.
Erik! Erik gently moved his hand and cradled my cheek, replacing the smirk on his face with a tender smile that made my heart skip a beat.
I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I swear to love you till the end of days and beyond. You make me feel so complete. I can no longer imagine what I would do in life without you. Let me stay with you. I love you so much.
I felt my heart going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Was this truly happening? Yes, it was. I felt it. I knew it. Well, that's cute as shit. Out of pure happiness, I wrapped my arms around Erik and kissed him deeply. Erik stared before holding me to him and kissing deeply back, pouring all of his love to me into that kiss. I did the same for him, not wanting to wake if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my arms. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high, all at once. Here I was, kissing the man I would be with forever under the beautiful moonlight of the night. I had gained the heart of of a man I loved. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Erik would. And that was my happily ever after. Oh, that was adorable! I already have Demon War. I got that from Matthew. Oh, that was adorable! I actually really enjoyed Erik's. Oh. That was adorable. I didn't really think I'd like him that much. Oh. My character and Erik reminds me a lot of my boyfriend and I. Because we always have these, like, arguments, I suppose you would call them. Be like, I don't deserve you. You were so wonderful. You're perfect. And I'm like, no, that's pretty much you. No. And we just keep going like that. It's like, I miss my boyfriend now. I really miss my boyfriend right now. It's just kind of probably sounds lame because he probably could be like in the same town, but Dustin and I are a long distance relationship. We've been dating for almost 2 years. I'm not entirely sure when this is going to come out on exactly what day, but it'll be 2 years in December. And I live in Massachusetts, he lives down in North Carolina. I mean, it's not that far, but we don't get to see each other as often as we want. So, we actually just bought a ticket for him to come up and visit me, because he's my date to my brother's wedding on Halloween. So, I keep counting down the days until I see him again. Currently, today I believe it's 62 more days. I am literally gonna cry right now, so I'm gonna end this episode off here so I can do that off camera. Anyway, I really enjoyed Erik. I think next time on Seduce Me the Otome, let's romance James. Because I was going to do him after Damien, but then I'm like, oh, but I wanted to see Matthew. He looks adorable. And I was right. If you haven't seen that or Damien's, go ahead and watch that. Because it's something. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Share with your friends if they like me just rattling on about me being sad. I'll try not to do that as often, I swear. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye!